So, Black Swan recently had their comeback roll up, and the performance is phenomenal. Their live vocals, the choreography, their energy, they are truly one of the most talented and insanely underrated groups in K-pop. But of course, it wouldn't be K-pop without petty drama, which honestly, good for them. Anything to have people talking about this group is fine with me. I want them to have all the attention surrounding their comeback, especially since Mnet and some of these Korean music shows are clearly playing around with them. Did you see that whack thumbnail? And what's with the lack of ending fairies? Seriously, what's going on? Anyways, the particular drama was set in motion by Envy, the biracial member of the group, and her hairstyle that she rocked during Roll Up. Envy wore box braids, a popular black girl hairstyle who we've seen appropriated by nearly every other racial group, especially those in the K-pop world. But this isn't just about hair. Race and identity ultimately became the focus of the drama, and that's what we'll be overanalyzing in this video. I too saw the TikTok celebrating Envy's hair. Finally, a black woman wearing braids in K-pop. And although I knew what the creator of the post meant, I also saw the pushback and confusion in the comments. Apparently, people were surprised. They did not realize that Envy was mixed with black. In addition, some K-pop stans were claiming that it is appropriation because they don't view Envy as a black woman, since she obviously is and presents as a biracial or mixed woman. But what seems to have really triggered people is the alleged black K-pop stans correcting those who are calling Envy a black woman when she is biracial. And because they assume that some of the people making this distinction are black women, the K-pop community has quickly turned this into an attack against black girl K-pop fans. I unfortunately came across a super out of touch video that essentially blamed and attacked black women for not pedestalizing Envy as black girl representation. Now, I have already uploaded a video that is over an hour long, which dives deep into my feelings regarding black girl representation in K-pop. If you haven't seen it already, definitely check it out after this. But you guys know I love talking about black girl representation as it relates to anything. So let's get into it. The biggest response I have seen come from this drama is directed towards black girls, and many of you feel like black girls are wrong for calling Envy a biracial woman, not a black woman, and therefore not acknowledging her as black girl representation. One thing I have always noticed is that black girls are not allowed to own their identity the way that literally every other group of monoracial women do. You guys would never demand white girls to acknowledge or pedestalize Zendaya as a white girl representation, despite her being half white. And also, I've never seen biracial people like Zendaya or Envy even try to force themselves in monoracial white girl spaces as their representation. It feels like there is a certain respect you all have for non-black monoracials where you wouldn't even try to take over their image or force another image as replacement of theirs, the way you do black girls. Black girls and women are forced to allow anyone access to their space and image, along with their style and trends, especially when it comes to the biracial members of the community. But the truth is, black and biracial girls each have their own spaces and images, especially in media representation, and there is nothing wrong with that. You guys stay trying to shame black girls into pedestalizing mixed or biracial women within their space, instead of acknowledging that they are different groups of people with different experiences. Just because they can both experience racism does not make them the same. And please don't try to misunderstand me, I hate when you guys do that. But I am not saying that mixed or biracial people should be excommunicated from black culture entirely. They definitely have a place within their community, but not as the replacement. I understand that some biracial and mixed people grow up in the black community, and some may have more physical features that are closer to their black genetics. Regardless, black and biracial women are still two different groups of women. The truth is, there is a huge difference in representation for black girls and biracial girls, especially where K-pop is concerned. Pop quiz. How many black girl idols are there in K-pop? The answer is 1, vcha. vcha is the only black K-pop idol. And how many black adjacent biracial and mixed girls are there in K-pop? Well, currently we have Envy from Black Swan, Manon from Katseye, Savannah from vcha, and back in the day there was Alex Reed, who was in Rania. I know there have also been a lot of biracial and mixed Black adjacent contestants in both A2K and Dream Academy, K-pop survival shows that formed groups later. So if I left anyone out, please let me know in the comments. But clearly, biracial and mixed girls have way more of a presence and representation in K-pop compared to Black girls. And because of racism, colorism, texturism, and featureism, they have more of an opportunity in a lot of media spaces and are often used as a replacement for Black girl identity as a whole. Remember JYP's survival show A2K? JYP and his company auditioned girls all over North America for what would become his first global girl group, vcha. What stuck out to me most, and any other Black girl who was paying attention, was how he didn't have one monoracial Black girl on the show. Melissa, Christina, and Savannah were obviously put in place to represent Black girls, but each of those girls were obviously biracial or mixed. It's not fair to Black girls to not receive their own representation, especially in vcha's sense, where white girls have KG, Asian girls have Kaylee and Alexis, and Latina girls have Camila to identify with and see themselves in. Each of those members are a clear and visible representation of their identity. Not to mention, the show took place in America, where Black culture was created. And Black culture is one of the pillars of K-pop. And I go into this deeper in my video. There's something about JYP's vcha I can't help but notice, about what excluding their image communicates to the collective of Black girls. When you intentionally substitute Black girl representation with biracial images, you are sending a racist message to Black girls that their image is not acceptable and not the preferred version. You create unrealistic standards for Black girls that they'll never achieve because they are different. This is a harmful attack on Black girl self-esteem and would affect anyone in the same situation, especially by how often this happens in the media. Unfortunately, erasing Black girl image with biracial image is a trend that Black girls have to deal with on all fronts of media representation. It's not exclusive to K-pop. And the way you guys try to make Black girls feel bad for acknowledging and making the distinction between their image and mixed girl or biracial image just shows how many of you essentially hate Black girls. It is not divisive to point out that Black girls and biracial girls are different with their own representation. It's the truth. And by trying to demonize this shows your bias towards biracial and mixed girls over Black girls, which is essentially why we have to make sure that we point out the difference. This is a plight unique to being a Black girl, and it is important for Black girls to make the distinction between Black and biracial girls because they are not treated the same. By forcing and shaming them to pedestalizing biracial girls in place of their image is contributing to the erasure of their image. Black and biracial girls have two different images, and they are treated very differently. Biracial and mixed girls have more privilege over Black girls because of their non-Blackness. Anti-Blackness is global, as any K-pop stan would know by now. And although both Black and Black adjacent people can still experience racism, there still is favoritism towards those who are not wholly Black, especially if their features reflect that. This discrimination is actually very prominent in the Black community as well as the rest of the world, so Black girls have to deal with this on all fronts. Typically, biracial women in the media are shown in a much better light compared to Black girls. They are more often portrayed as feminine and their beauty is celebrated, and this leads to better opportunities in all kinds of areas, not just K-pop. Their ambiguous features are often used to undermine Black women in their prominent Black features. Because people, including non-Black people, see the media portray biracial people better, they are often treated better in real life compared to Black girls. I go into examples of difference in treatment in my overanalyzing that one moment in Daria video, as well as most of my videos in my Black girl representation playlist, but all you have to do is look around and stop being so intentionally dishonest. Black girl image is often disparaged and demonized. They are portrayed as ghetto, masculine, struggling, and unattractive. Little Black girls often grow up hearing negativity associated with their natural Black features, such as their hair and skin tone. Often, they are undermined by being compared to the features of biracial and mixed girls, which are essentially their features watered down. But media influence would have you believe that those features are the standard of Black girl beauty. Black girls have their own standard of beauty, but the media and those influenced by it often either don't acknowledge it at all or try to downplay it. And this is something that only happens to black girls due to anti-blackness. What's even more crushing than experiencing this is realizing that no one has any sympathy towards black girls who deal with this, as we can see. Instead, there is so much anti-black language that people use to normalize their mistreatment. And this causes people to treat them poorly in real life too. And poorly is an understatement. Violence against black women is higher than any other group of women here in America. There are real-life effects of negative black girl representation, and they can be fatal. Which is why it's so important not to pretend that positive qualities associated with biracial image can be applied to black girls and their image. They are not treated the same, and it only takes away from acknowledging and correcting the problem with negative black girl image and stereotypes. And the disingenuousness only takes away from acknowledging and correcting the problem with negative black girl image and stereotypes. Even the language you guys use to reprimand black girls in this envy situation. You should be so lucky to have envy's positive image associated with black girls when you're usually known to be so ghetto, etc., etc. The way you guys talk to black girls is crazy. And again, so out of touch. Celebration of mixed girl image does not equate or transition to celebration of black girl image. Because when it comes down to it, it is always revealed through treatment of the individuals that there is a specific hatred towards black girls. For black girls and their phenotype, there is simply no question of what they are. When you present as black, no one questions anything else. With biracial women, most of the time, there is a question mark because of how ambiguous mixed race features can be. And even if you're unable to see the difference in black and biracial people, that doesn't matter. Most black people can anyways. Recently, Manon, the mixed member of Katseye, has been shown on TikTok to be experiencing racism and even weird treatment within the group. People seem to believe that because a mixed race person can experience racism, that automatically makes them black. Racism is not exclusive to black people, and just because a mixed person can experience racism doesn't default them to black. Anti-blackness is just so powerful that even those who are black adjacent can experience it from the most racist people. It is the blackness in her that people attack, but it's the non-blackness that got her an opportunity to be a part of Katseye, in my opinion.
And you know, 120,000 girls applied to be a part of the group. 120,000. That's a lot of people, and you're all here, so congratulations to you.
Both black and mixed people will experience racism, especially in Korea. But this does not negate the difference in their identities, nor the privilege that biracial and mixed people still have over monoracial black people. You guys may pretend and be intentionally dishonest about it, but you really prove my point. You too are very aware of the difference between black and biracial women, even in this case. And the evidence is in the comments and responses to the envy hair situation. So many of you are angry at black women for making the distinction between black and biracial women and who represents their image and identity by immediately responding and calling those black women jealous. And this is a very common response. This shows that a lot of you have hatred towards black women. Why would it be that they're jealous? Why do you automatically assume that they want biracial or mixed features instead of their own? It's because you prefer biracial or mixed features over black features, and you are projecting that anti-blackness onto black girls every time you call them jealous. It's evil, dishonest, and played out. Now, I personally don't have a problem with mixed or biracial girls wearing box braids because some of them do have black girl hair texture, and that style was specifically created by black girls for our type of hair. I also don't see anything wrong with black girls making the distinction and calling envy biracial, not black. Envy is a mixed girl. If black girls want to have opinions about this and claim their identity, that's their business, and they're entitled to it, no matter how much lack of respect you have for the collective of black girls. Obviously, it's deeper than hair for them, and it's harmfully undermining to default all mixed people to black when there is obviously a difference. Black girls don't have non-black parents. If you have access to an entirely non-black community, you are biracial. And maybe it's because I grew up in the early 2000s and in California, but I didn't know being called biracial was a bad thing. Most biracial people I know are proud to be it, and that's completely fine. Black and biracial girls can support each other and share our braiding techniques from separate spaces. It's really disrespectful and telling of you guys to try to make black girls feel bad for having a reaction and distinguishing the difference between black and biracial representation. And it's super racist if you yourself aren't even black and can't experience what they go through, along with the effects of lack of positive representation. It impacts their real lives and has very real consequences. Now, once again, I have a Black girl representation playlist that really picks apart the causes and effects of Black girl representation in the media. If you like videos like this or simply want to educate yourself on things you can't experience or understand, check it out. The link's in the description. And with that being said, please keep it cute in the comments, like and share the video, and stop trying to tell Black girls how to feel and go stream roll up. Bye!